Okay, let me finish this piece. So I'm going to go to my UVs, bring it here. And notice I go to the UVs first, and then I select the edges. And look at, so these edges up here respond to the edges down there. So I have to select this whole piece, all the UVs, and rotate, orient it the right way. Select the edges, move. So now I'm going to just select all these little edges here to glue them back together, and go all around and like do the same. So now it's very organized. We have all that continuous piece laid out. Now let's go to let's save this, and now let's start stitching these parts. So I'm gonna go to my UV here. Just select one UV on that surface, go to the UV texture editor and find it. Hold on Control, go to Shell, move it, and let's rotate this. Let's select the edges. So if I select these edges, that's like, this is that piece. Basically I have to select the whole thing, rotate it, bring it down here, and we have a weird angle here, so we need to basically this is going to get glued down there, and there might be a little bit of a problem here. We'll see how we can get away with that part in a minute, because we have a little bit of deformation when we do that. Some things get a little bit squashed, so we need to unfold them later on.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So is it better to just leave the original shape in its raw form before you start manipulating and shaping it, and then like stitch it together and do this, and you be editing, and once you finish here, go in and manipulate it and shape it how you want it?
When you say raw form, you mean this?
Like
You mean like leave it as a box?
yeah,
Put
leave
the
it as a
holes in
box,
it.
and then go in UV editing, stitch that box together. Then after you finish stitching it together, come out and start manipulating it.
You mean like put the holes?
Is it better to do it that way?
Manipulating what? The object itself, the geometry?
Yeah, like, okay, like I start off with the box for that table, and then I go into UV editing, stitch the box together in UV editing, then come back and start manipulating the box into a tray.
No, no. No, you have to finish the object. You have to finish the object completely, then you do the UV operation. And what you want to do, if you want to start manipulating the geometry back again, it would be very subtle, only with a little bit of a brush, not extrusion. If you extrude, you add more geometry. So if you start actually modeling after you do the UV, then you actually you are deforming the topology of the UVs.
Okay.
So you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that your model is done completely 100%. Then you go to do the UVs, and then the only thing you can add to the model after doing the UVs is maybe using a brush tool and like just deforming the geometry, but slightly. Not adding geometry, only like pushing it a little bit, you know.
Okay.
Maybe curling a paper with a deformer or like, but not extruding or adding stuff and moving too harshly.
Okay.
Yeah. So here, let's get this part. I don't need to go to the 3D object anymore. I'm just going to be stitching this depending on what I see here, because now I have a perfect visual guide of where things are. So this is the UV. I'm going to select it, take it down here, select the edges, and do the same. And select. I'm going to select all these UVs and deselect the ones I don't need. Bring them over here. So this edge is over here. So UVs. So now I'm going to select all these edges and do 1, and all these and these. Do the same for that part. Select these. So here we get like we have a little bit of if you notice in the model we have another thickness in here. So we need to go and like stitch this part too. But sometimes that might not fit very well. So I'm gonna go to the UVs over here and look at the edges. So see, these edges correspond to that piece down there. So this piece here, sometimes we have to like negotiate either if we want to stitch this little inside space, or if we want to keep it outside and then texture it carefully as an outside piece. Because basically here it doesn't fit very well. Even if I do this, if I select this piece and move it and select the edges and do the same thing, it will fit, but then all the other ones are going to start to get crowded. It's going to get crowded in there. So I will leave this as a piece, as an exterior part, and I'm going to stitch it with the rest of it as one continuous entity. So I'm going to find the other edge, which is this piece, and the other edge, and keep stitching these edges. I don't have to move anything. I'm just going to go ahead and move. So this is one piece. Let's do the other one. Let's get the UVs. And this piece is, I'm going to put it down here. So this corresponds to that part. This, let me just straighten it out. So this is this should be counterclockwise. I'm going to bring it down here, and I'm going to start edge, move over here, move, and move. So I have all this other piece over here. So basically I have this whole part, and what we're left is only the bottom piece, the bottom part of the tray, and the base actually, and the bottom part of the tray. So these can actually be just separate. So edge. So I can stitch this to that side. So let's get this UV. Bring it over here. Select these edges, move, select these edges, and now this belongs down here. And notice that some UVs are overlapping. Sometimes you might not notice that, and you might be working, and if they're overlapping, that's very bad, because how can we know? Double check by doing image, shade UVs. When you shade UVs, something that is overlapping starts to has another color, and the more if there's another object overlapping this object, it will start having another color, and so forth. So it starts to change color. So you can see that there's a problem here. So select the UVs to shell and move them out so they don't overlap. So select the UVs to shell. And bring them out. See, here we have a little bit of a problem. I can go to the UVs over here and go unfold. I can unfold UVs so it like relaxes the area of kind of relaxes this area. So I'm going to select certain areas and unfold. Select this area. See that it's kind of pinching things in. So I'm going to unfold these areas. And also this part here. This part here. So I keep unfolding until everything looks normal. So I just finished laying out the tray. And I know exactly where, how to, now I could just actually break it apart into two pieces. Like I could just go, in order to fit it in this box, I can break it into two pieces. So maybe I can go to, I'm going to select these edges here. I have to make sure I'm selecting the edges I want to unglue. Let's say it was a cardboard, cut it with a knife exactly where you want to cut it, not other areas. So select the edges, the cutting edge. Go and say, where is it? Cut UV edges. It doesn't show anything that is happening, but it's happened. So you have to go to the UV and go to shell, bring this part over here, and let's bring this part over here. So so now it fits. So I'm like organizing it like a, like an instruction manual. So I can scale all of them. It's better to fit them perfectly in the box. And now I'm done. I'm going to save. I'm going to go to object mode, select the object, save the scene, go to this area here, and UV snapshot. So I'm going to do a UV snapshot of that. Everything is organized, everything is in place. I'm going to snapshot that so I can send the UVs to Photoshop. So I'm going to use 2048 resolution, keep aspect ratio, a PSD Photoshop file, and I'm going to save it. Since I organized my project on the desktop, it's going to be under tray, textures. So this is going to be my tray underscore UV underscore layout. And I'm going to name it 01 because sometimes we might need to bring more. Save.